systems go. Clear for liftoff.
Oh yeah, pay-per-view season, baby. Definitely way more excited for this card than last week's. Only 10 fights last week. We were a little disappointed talking about them. But hey, I'll take that card every single day of the week if it means SHIPIT Nation has the exact week we had. So many shippers, so many people chopping first place in the $3, $15, the $5.55 two-way chop. Both of them, SHIPIT Nation, Gary, and Hoop. Absolutely spot on over here last week. Feels good to run pretty good sometimes. 10 fights. We got the job done. This week, awesome stuff. 12 fights, pay-per-view season. Is it the best pay-per-view? No, there's definitely plenty better pay-per-views on the card. But hey, prize pool's absolutely massive. That's what we care about. Izzy coming back after a year. Layoff getting beat up by Strict Daddy. Interesting main event. 12 fights, excited to talk about with you. We're in Australia, which means fans, good fans. They got to get out of the Apex, man. MMA, it's a live fan sport. Super pumped for that. 6:30 a.m. start time over there. 6:30 p.m. Eastern start time for us over here. And Pete in here, Ben in here, Cody, Michael Peterson, Hebrew Cheetah. What's going on? Before I throw it to Big Marley, Hebrew Cheetah, my man Rio, will be going live with me right after this show. Him and I going to hit a best ball draft live for drafters. If you're not or if you don't know about drafters, don't know what you're doing, use that promo code SHIPIT. They will match 100% up to $100. Again, I said it last week. I'm not promising overlay, but man, it looks like there's going to be some overlay over there. So no better time, get in, no better spot to draft. You're probably wondering, why is Big Marley not on the best ball show? Big Marley feels like shit. There ain't no way around it. We're going to try and spare his voice as much as possible. Again, he'll give his breakdowns as always, but you want his real thoughts, get to the fight rankings over at ShipItNation.com. We'll get to that little promo video in a sec, but I'll bring you in quickly, Big Marley. 12 fights, pay-per-view season. Hope you feel better, though. How you doing?
Yeah, I've been better. But good card, man. I'm glad we got 12 fights. Hopefully we keep all 12. I'll be short and sweet on this podcast, but yeah, all my stuff is already posted over at ShipItNation.com, so you can go check it out. You can hit me up in Discord with any questions. But yeah, hopefully we'll knock it out for you guys on this shorter podcast.
Yeah, it's a lot easier for Big Marley to be using the fingers and typing than it is to talk, so maybe a little shorter. I'll carry the load a little bit. Before we get into all that, though, man, I don't know if you guys saw our Twitter video. Came out like a minute and a half video we just posted like 2 hours ago. I mean, always hyped for football, but that video definitely got me pumped. Shout out to our social media team over here at ShipItNation.com. You guys know what time it is. Hey, let's listen to the big guy. You guys know, we like to keep our marketing short and sweet. We knock it out right in the beginning. We have a video from the big guy. Super awesome stuff. About 4.5 minutes. I'm going to play it right now. And we're going to get into talking some MMA, but very excited to listen to this. I think you guys will like it a lot. Let's roll it.
I just checked my calendar, and you know what? It's August, which means one thing. Football's back, and if you can't get excited for football in August, I got nothing for you, big guy. The big guy is excited. Guy in the back is excited. SHIPIT Nation is excited, and darn it, you better be excited too. So let's get started. Everything that SHIPIT Nation has to offer you in 2024. I hope you saw what an incredible year it was at SHIPIT Nation in 2023 for NFL season. And if you're thinking to yourself, I want all that again, well, don't worry. You're going to get it all and more. We have an entire team over here at SHIPIT of just the sweatiest tryhards you've ever met who are ready to offer you every single thing you need for every single slate, including the stack rankings, the DVP rankings, slate plans, player pools, every single thing. And oh yeah, if you don't know, all the stuff that I did at my site last year, DGen75, is now over at SHIPIT. I told you were going to get everything we offered and then more. So it's no surprise that at SHIPIT Nation, they had 3 Millionaire Maker winners last year, over 24 six-figure winners, and a handful of game-changing hits from our community. But what is it that I'm bringing over from DGen75 that's so special? Well, first of all, this thing called the Stone. If you don't know, I invented this for college football to try to help everybody, and now it has just turned into the best tool in all of DFS. You want my ownership and my projections. You want to know who's a good cash play, who's a good GPP play. I put it all into one place called The Stone. I do this for PGA. I do this for college football. We do this for NFL. And here's the best part. You get all of this in one place in addition to everything that SHIPIT Nation is already offering. You're still getting your Tambo, your Hoop, your Marley, your Title, your Hamwich. All of those guys, the sweatiest tryhards, are now there, and you get this in addition to the tools. And here's the best part. None of it is an upsell. It's all the same price, if not cheaper than everybody else in the community, and you're getting double the tools. This is what we do at SHIPIT. We want you spending your money on your contests and not on your content. So if that NFL stone caught your eye, let me tell you about the college football stone. I know a lot of you are saying college football is not even legal in 20 states. Yeah, but that means it's still legal in 30. And I am telling you, college football DFS is the next sport that's coming up. If you're intimidated by it, you don't know anything about it, well, don't worry. I have a stone right here that tells you what's a good cash play, what's a good GPP play, ownership, projections, everything you need, just like we offer for NFL. This was a big part of the merger when DJ came over, is I wanted to bring this over to SHIPIT Nation so people can see how fun college football DFS is. And you're thinking to yourself, man, I don't want to pay no $300 for no college football package. Well, don't worry. We don't separate our packages. We only have a football package. NFL and college football are one package, and here's the best part. Even if you just want to play NFL, our package is already cheaper than all of the competition, and you're basically just getting college football for free. So why in the hell would you not want it? It is an awesome tool. I have the sweatiest tryhard team behind me. College football DFS is a great little addition, and we don't upcharge it because, once again, put your money into your contests and not into your content. So what is this great price, and how does it compare to the competition? Well, let's just put up a chart, Bob. Here you go. You can see that we don't break it into a bunch of packages. We just have a football package, which includes both NFL and college football for $299. Here's the best part. You sign up before September 5th. We're going to give you free run of the entire website, MMA, PGA, MLB. You can be doing all of that stuff all the way up till September 5th just on us, because that's what we do to take care of our members. Not to mention, when you look at this, just start comparing the price. You are literally going to be saving hundreds, if not thousands of dollars during the season. That is things you could be putting into your DraftKings and FanDuel lineups and not wasting, giving it to your touts and paying for shit that you don't need. Pay for what you deserve and get quality. That is what we offer here at SHIPIT Nation. 2024 has been a magical year for SHIPIT Nation. The merger between SHIPIT Nation and DGen has gone better than we could have ever expected. Just look at the success across NASCAR and PGA, MMA, MLB. All of the sports out there have been incredible, and now we're going to carry it over to this football season with NFL and college football, and we're going to blow your hair back by giving you the best product at the best price out there. We're also going to teach you about sustainability, about how to play DFS sustainably so you can be there long enough to hit those wins, to get those big hits. We don't care if it's $50, $500, $5,000. We want you to play long enough until you can hit it, and we can do that by giving you great tools at an affordable price, and that is our mission here at SHIPIT Nation. Come be a part of the most incredible community out there. Come be a part of a place that teaches you how to win, and come be a part of a place that celebrates your wins and not fucking moderators' wins. It's been awesome. 2024, the year of SHIPIT Nation. Come join the nation. It's going to be special in 2024. I'm out, you motherfathers. I just checked my...
Oh my goodness, that gets me so pumped. The energy he can put in with everything going on in life. Shout out to G-Gen, the only one out there that can do it like him, the big guy. He said all he had to say, better than I can say it. The one thing I will mention, we also do, real quick, then we're going to talk some fights, have a monthly football package as well. So obviously our best deal, hold on, got a host, do all that. Obviously the best deal is, there we go, our $299 early bird special. NFL season, you get it locked in, you get the Shiptimizer, and you get all access to the site. MMA, UFC 305, you get content for that. But if you do want monthly, you want to try us out monthly before the $299, whatever it may be, you see this football right here. Let me go back to this quick. SHIPIT Nation, the website. Click that. Then join the nation. This is the best deal. $299 early bird special. If you want to look at our other stuff, we have single sports. We have annual deal, which is the best deal. 6 month, monthly. If you know you'll be with us for the long haul, lock that in. You cannot have a better deal. Otherwise, football monthly right here just was added to the site. Again, you see it does include college football. $54 per month. You want to add the Shiptimizer, an extra $10 for NFL. As you see, we have PGA, we have MLB. If you just want our projections as well, haven't showed this off too much. You can get data only ownership and projections on here as well. But we did add the single sport football. And if you do this, again, the $299 early bird special, a way better deal, gets you locked in for the year. But this football, if you sign up right now monthly, it'll start September 5th, but you also get all of our access. You'll get MMA this week. You'll get PGA, etc. So you sign up, you're like, why would I sign up for monthly football when it doesn't start till September 5th? You do still get all access to the site. Then that will start September 5th. So just wanted to call that out. DJ couldn't have said it any better. Pay less for your content, play more in your contest. Shout out DJ, the absolute man. Always thinking of you. Let's talk some fights, Big Marley. What do you say? 12 fights, big boy prize pools. Super, super pumped for this card. Let's start it off with a pretty good fight right here. Stuart Nickel taking on Jesus Aguilar. Minus 229 Nickel, plus 195 is Aguilar. This fight, plus 100. Flip a coin for it to finish. Nickel inside the distance, plus 200. Aguilar, plus 350. So the only debuting fighter, UFC debuting fighter on the card is Nickel, 8-0. He looks like some fun on tape, man. He looks good. He's 29, so it's not one of those 23-year-olds still growing into his body, getting better. Body's in prime shape. Looks really good. The level of competition is the biggest concern. Very interesting in this one as well. He opened the dog. So we had Aguilar open minus 155. Now, Nickel got money right away to pretty much a coin flip and has steadily taken money ever since. Looks like he has a good style for DFS too, a really solid wrestler. Mendonca just took down Aguilar 4 times, controlled him for 8 minutes. So I'm right away, obviously, have interest in the Nickel side. I do think you can leave money playing him. He is 9K. Like, I think he does have 120-point upside in his best performance. Nolan, Jenkins, we'll get to some big favorites up there. You leave 800 or something like that. That's a way to get difference. And I'll say it right now, I don't like too many dogs on this card. If Aguilar wins, I think he has some of the best upside on the slate. Solid inside the distance prop at plus 350. A nasty guillotine. Had it pretty tight on Tyra early. Only 1 knockout, so I don't think he's really knocking him out. But I think the fight plays out on the mat a decent amount, which means reversals, etc. And at the end of the day, you really just don't know how good a UFC debuter is making his biggest step up in competition. So this is a fight right off the bat. I'm going to have ownership on both sides. What do you see?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I'm cool with either side of this fight as well. Nickel, I mean, I haven't really seen any flaws from him, but his level of competition has been pretty weak so far. So I do think this is his toughest fight to date. And if Aguilar is going to win this fight, I think it has to come on the ground. So if Aguilar does win on the ground, I think he's going to put up more than 10x here with like 90+ point upside. So I think Aguilar is a solid punt play if we need one. But I did like what I saw from Nickel. I thought he's going to have the striking edge here. I like his leg kicks. He also has some pretty solid wrestling, mean ground and pound. My issue with him is just that I don't know if he wants to take it to the ground against a guy like Aguilar, especially if he is winning the fight on the feet. And if he's going to strike for 3 rounds, I just don't think that's going to cut it at 9K. So the way I put it in the fight rankings is I'd be fine with like 10 to 30, 35% of either side of this fight with the lineups that I create in the Shiptimizer. But if I'm making just a couple, my preferred click is going to be Nickel. I'll pick him to win 29, 28, maybe 30, 27.
Yeah, that was my one concern too. Like, if he's already outstriking him on the feet, like he's not really worried about the power. Aguilar's only knockout, Shannon Ross, no chin Shannon. So if he's already getting better exchanges on the feet, like, will he take it to the mat? And if he doesn't, he more than likely won't be optimal. So yeah, it's not a fight by any means. If I had 50% Nickel, I'm probably going to bump him down a little bit. A lot of good fighters in the top tier, 35 or something would be solid. But I mean, if he gets takedowns early and just knows he's way better, like Mendonca going 4 times, showed Aguilar 1. I didn't really see it that way, and he controlled him. I think Nickel's a better wrestler, so definitely has upside. And yeah, Aguilar catches him a guillotine, plus 350 inside the distance. Somehow the tape isn't like the biggest step up in competition right here. Debuting like at home, it's a lot to be nervous about. People are human beings. Some people have off days. You want dog wins. Like 80 from a dog this week could be enough to be on the winner. He's a live dog right here. I'll be fading some. So yeah, fight right away. I'm gonna have some, and in single entry, to be honest, I'd be fine with either side to start it off. Ownership should relatively be in check on both. You don't hear that fan in the background, right?
Nah, I don't.
Good. I mean, I was getting so hot, I had to crank that thing on. All right, let's get to the next fight on the card. Another fight I'm going to be playing some of. One of the closer line fights. Song Kanon taking on Ricky Glenn. Minus 180 is Song. Plus 155 is Glenn. Minus 180 for this fight to finish. Song Kanon minus 115. Ricky Glenn plus 425 inside the distance. So my thought process on this one is, I mean, you look at Ricky Glenn at 7,500. We're going to get to favorites that are minus 1,000 plus, minus 800 plus, minus 380. So there's already some cheap dogs that like right away I'm going to be Xing out. So my dog player pool is already shrunk to an extent. And again, 75-80 could be enough. Like we could see 10 out of 12 favorites win on this card is what the money lines are telling me. And if that's the case, you want 75. We just saw Tallulah 2 weeks ago on the winner on a 12-fight card. It was 61. So like crazy things can happen. Glenn at plus 155 is a live dog. Other than that, there's really not many pros I can say about him. Like he's coming up a weight class to 170. He's 35 years old, been knocked out in the first round the past 2 fights. Like not too much is lining up. Song Kanon dropped Ian Gary, has power in his hands, but he's not the highest volume guy. He doesn't have takedown upside in this one. If he doesn't get the knockout or even like a 3rd round knockout, I'm really not sure he gets there at 8,700. So he's live for an early bonk. Glenn been finished twice in the first round, his last 2. If he does that, sure, I'll take that at 87 all day. Ownership in check, at least it allows you to leave money easier. But again, it's not like a fight. It's a fight I'm fine. It's pretty similar to that last fight. If I had 50% of one of these guys, I'm not doing that. I'm bumping that down for sure. But if I had 30% either side, I think I'm fine rolling with it if I like everything else. So a fight I'm definitely going to have both sides of. You can make cases for it. But it's also just like, man, I can also make cases why it busts. So how do you see it?
Yeah, I think Song is my preferred play because I am picking him to get a TKO. I just think he's more dangerous, probably a little bit more durable with Glenn coming off of 2 back-to-back knockout losses. But yeah, at $8,700, we need Song to get a finish. He is minus 115 to win inside the distance, so that's good. That makes me like him a little bit more. But if he doesn't win inside the distance, I don't think he's hitting 10x here. So I also don't love clicking on him. I think you're right in the 10 to 30% range as well. I'm cool with that. And then Glenn on the other side, I think he's in play as just a live dog. But I don't see a whole lot of upside from him either. I think if he wins, he's probably playing for more like 60 to 75 points, which maybe he can get it there if he's one of few underdogs to win, or if like you need one of those really expensive guys to be on your team. But I just don't have a whole lot of interest in Glenn. So my preferred play is going to be Song. If I had to fade one of them, it would be Glenn. But I'd probably be closer to like 25% Song, 10% Glenn, something like that. I really just don't have a ton of interest in this fight. It's just we need that finish from really either one for 100-point upside.
I'm going to try and limit my follow-up questions for you because the voice and everything, but this is an important one. Do you see it similar to me? Like I'm playing live dogs. Like if you tell me Ricky Glenn gets 75, I'll be overweight. Like, again, like if 5 dogs win on the card, 75 is probably not enough, but I like a lot of favorites. Like if you pencil in 75 for guys 7,500 or lower, I am 100% at least double the field on this card. Do you see it similar or not really?
Yeah, I'm looking for really any dogs. I just have a couple that I like to click more. So if the Shiptimizer gives me those guys instead of Glenn, then I'd be fine fading them. But I do feel like Glenn will have to be in my player pool just as a live dog who could score around 10x.
Yeah, I like it. So you see it similar. Wanted to shout this out. 125K King of Smack. Come on, man. What a flex. Awesome stuff. Looking for another great year. D-Gen the GOAT. Absolutely. We all know that. Good to see you as well, Jason Turner. Always in here. Always appreciates your support. Appreciate everyone out there watching live, watching on playback. Thumbs up. Take 2 seconds out of your day right now. Hit that thumbs up. Helps us out a ton. If you want to drop a comment, some bold prediction. Also, really, main event. Flip a coin. We'll get there in a little bit. Drop who's going to win in the main event down below. I'm really excited to see where it goes. Is he the big name? DDP been taking some steam. So, yeah, drop your main event prediction down there. It's a good one. We'll get to that in a little bit, though. Let's keep it rolling with the biggest favorite on the card. So these next 2 we're going to talk about in a tier of their own. We have 9,800, Tom Nolan. Then we'll talk about Jack Jenkins, who's 9,600, going against the Bum brothers, Alex Reyes, Dominic Reyes' brother, and then Herbert Burns, Gilbert Burns' brother. But this one right here, minus 1,150 for Tom Nolan. plus 750 for Alex Reyes, minus 1,600 for this fight to finish. Under 1.5 is minus 290. Tom Nolan is minus 1,000 inside the distance. Reyes is plus 900. And Tom Nolan is minus 185 in round one. He throws 9 significant strikes per minute. Obviously, he's a very good play. I'm penciling him in for 100 plus. But it comes back to, if 10 favorites win, 11 favorites win, is 115 enough at 9,800? Even if that's the highest score on the slate, a couple others score 100, 104, 106, but they're 600 cheaper and stuff like that. It might not be enough. So he does have that 130-point upside. Like we saw with Chepe Mariscal last week, you need that regardless. Kind of reminds me of the Bo Nickel card. Who headlined that one? I think that was Yair Rodriguez and Volk. That card where Bo Nickel was taking on Val Woodburn. He was way, way up there, and there's a lot of good guys in below, but he got a quick 1 minute bonus. He put up a 130 piece, and you just needed to jam that top guy, Peyton Talbot, a little while ago. Same type of stuff. And a tier of his own above, first minute bonus, absolutely nuked this late. That's in play here. A lot of significant strikes, knockdown first round. So I'm definitely going to have him, but I'm really curious what you're going to say. He's someone, if I had 20% and loved everything, fine, because that means other lineups I can have for cheaper fighters. If they outscore him, you can leave money on the table more, and then you can solo ship a lot more likely. It's harder to go Tom Nolan, leave a lot of salary. You zero out Tom Nolan lineups. It's then you have to get different elsewhere, which maybe I'll have some of those lineups as well. But game theory wise, 12 fights, I'm going to play him. There's no doubt about that. How much though? I really don't know. So yeah, talk to me about this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely Nolan or pass for me. It's just a setup fight for him to win in his home country. Reyes hasn't won since 2017. I don't even know why he's still in the UFC. It's just to lose, right to a guy who's going to probably knock him out in the first round and finally have a solid highlight reel here. But, I mean, if you want to play Reyes, it's because Nolan was knocked out in his first UFC fight, and then he was dropped in his previous UFC fight too. So
As a massive favorite. As a massive favorite, he was dropped. He didn't look great, and then he turned it around pretty quick after. But yeah.
Yeah, big favorite in the one where he was knocked out too. So, if you want to play Reyes, nobody else is gonna. So maybe he could be your chance to a solo shipper. I just don't see me getting there. I'm probably going to X him out. And then the only issue with Nolan is that $9,800 price tag. That's really steep especially if we're hunting for underdogs on this one. So you said he was minus 185 in round one.
Yeah.
But on DraftKings, they have him minus 360 by round one knockout. So, I mean, I like that one a lot more. And that makes me want to get a little bit more exposure to him.
Wow. Yeah. That's why you always price shop. I'll just say that. Minus 185 on one site and then minus 360 literally by a certain method.
Yeah.
Don't bet that. I'll just say that. But yeah.
Yeah, but it does make me like him a little bit more for DraftKings. So, yeah, I agree. I'd be fine with 20% if that's all I can afford, because I'm okay going down to Jenkins for $200 cheaper. But at the same time, I want as much Nolan as I can afford. If there's underdogs that I'm feeling good about, let me start with them, throw Nolan in, see if I can complete the lineup from there. But, yeah, anywhere from 25 to 75%, I'd be fine with on the Nolan side, and then I'll just X out Reyes.
Yeah, I mean, if I could build 100 lineups and feel really good about low dupes with all Nolan, sure. But with the lack of dogs that I like and stuff like that, it's harder. What's up, Dwayne? I miss you, man. Hope you're doing well out there. I will say, though, it's completely different. Reyes is plus 800. Kazama last week was plus 210. A lot different scenario there. I will say, though, the core, we don't want people just following the core report, stuff like that. But we were all over Kazama last week. And, yeah, did that pay off in heaps? I mean, 6% in some contests, 13 in the flagship on a 10-fight card. Awesome. It was really, really good stuff over here. Kazama was the difference maker who you needed. Him and Chepe. All over it over here. Number one in the tier rankings was Chepe last week, Kazama in the core report. So very, very big week for the members. But hey, it's daily fantasy sports. Whether you shipped all the cheese one day, you lost all the cheese, clear mindset. Next day, move on. Don't get too highs on your highs, too lows on your lows. That's the way to live life. So what's going on, though, Dwayne? Hope you're doing well, man. keep it rolling to the second biggest favorite on the card. So you had 9,800 Nolan. Now we go 9,600 Jack Jenkins taking on Herbert Burns. Minus 700 Jack Jenkins. Plus 500 is Herbert Burns. Minus 600 for this fight to finish. Under 1.5, minus 110. Jack Jenkins minus 350 inside the distance. Herbert Burns plus 575 inside the distance. Round 1 prop for Jenkins plus 140. So, I mean, Herbert Burns isn't a bum for the first couple minutes of the fight. Like, before he dies, like, his cardio falls off a cliff or he faces some type of adversity. He's not that bad, which kind of concerns me with Jack Jenkins because, I mean, you're competing with Tom Nolan up there. Otherwise, you're competing with some Song Kanong's 900 cheaper. Like, we're going to get to other fighters where you can leave more money on the table and stuff like that. Jack Jenkins can wrestle, but I don't think he's wrestling this fight. Like, Herbert Burns is best on the mat. I think he kicks the legs, he chops away, eventually gets a knockout. I don't love Jack Jenkins this week because I like Tom Nolan so much more. But in my Jack Jenkins lineups, I think I'm going to be leaving at least 200 in almost every single one and not play Tom Nolan. So if Jenkins does outscore Nolan, all my Jack Jenkins teams are live and the dupes should be less. So that's kind of how I'm approaching it. I don't love zeroing out Jack Jenkins lineups. I don't love Jack Jenkins, period. But it makes sense game theory wise. If he does put up a big score, he outscores Nolan, leaving that 200, those lineups are a lot more live to split with a lot less people. So that's how I'm approaching it. I'm Xing Burns in 20 and below. But if I'm making like 100 lineups, 75 lineups, something like that, I think I'll play a little Herbert Burns probably because a lot of his win equity is in round 1. He's dangerous there. Plus 575 inside the distance and like plus 450 as a dog shows if he wins, he'll put up a big score. Again, 20 and below, I'm not going to get there. 100 something though, I probably will add him to the pool personally. But yeah, that's how I see this fight. What about you?
Yeah, I would prefer Burns over Reyes because he does have round 1 upside. He's the better submission grappler, but for 1 round, after round 1, he's probably dead in this one. And I think Jenkins could wrestle after round 1 and do whatever he wants to on the ground in this one. Jenkins is also plus 121 in round 1 on one site, plus 140 on another. He's minus 160 in rounds 1 or rounds 2 on DraftKings. So I do like Jenkins. I think he could knock him out in the first round. I think he could win the first round, go into the second, and then just dominate in the second and just rack up points en route to a finish in that second round and still put up a big score. So I like Jenkins. I'd probably prefer Nolan if I can afford it, but if I can't afford it, then I'm cool going down to Jenkins. So Burns would be another one where I'm close to fading him, but I'd be okay putting him with like a 5 to 10% max with 150 lineups. I'd prefer closer to that 5, but somewhere in that range would be fine with me. And then with Jenkins, I'd be cool getting around 40%, to be honest with you, somewhere around there. I mean, give or take 15 either way. But yeah, give me Jenkins to finish this guy in the first 8 minutes.
Sheets, the absolute man always. This is the last bunch of live due to the day and time change, but managed to sneak in for a minute, keep up the great work, and give someone a free month. We'll get you someone a free month. No idea how to decide, up to you. Well, always my go-to sheets is because this show is definitely watched way more on playback, and a lot of the people that are watching are members. And to keep it fair, the easiest thing is total. I thought that was coming out, Big Marley. I saw you joking there. Is total significant strikes in the main event because like there's so many different numbers you can pick. So if that works for you, Sheets, but then that means we obviously give it away next week. You tell me if you have a different idea, though. Obviously, we're all ears, but that's what I can think of. If you don't tell me something different, we'll go YouTube comments, closest total significant strikes in the main event. You got something different, though, let me know. Obviously, we'll be looking at the comments, but shout out to you. Hey, and I've been whatever you want. All right, so we're going to do that. Total significant strikes in the main event. Drop it in the YouTube comments. Next week, we will find that winner. I'll keep the YouTube comments, be watching it, and then we will do it on Sheets. And shout out to you, Sheets. You've absolutely been on fire in so many sports. I've been following, man, MLB, League of Legends, all of them. So congrats on the heater you're on. Much, much deserved, my man. One of the sharpest out there in the industry, no doubt about that. Let's keep it rolling. Next fight on the card, Luana Santos taking on Casey O'Neill, -140 Santos, +120. It's Casey O'Neill, +160 for this fight to finish. +250 Santos inside the distance, +475 is Casey. So this is the fight where if you just look at props, it's obviously not a fight you're really going to want to target. Most of these fights are expected to finish. One of the most likely to go the distance is this fight at -200. Then you dig into the prop or dig into the numbers. Casey O'Neill, a volume monster, 8.41 significant strikes per minute, 1.77 takedowns per 15 minutes. Santos on the other side, 5.33 significant strikes per minute, 2.03 takedowns per 15. I'm looking at this, not a clash of styles necessarily, because I think they're relatively close and stuff, but I think Santos is more likely to get takedowns. Casey O'Neill is more likely to throw more volume. 8,600, 7,600. I definitely have interest in both. 8,600 fighter Santos has more takedown upside, control time upside, fits DK scoring more. Casey O'Neill, if she wins, I'm expecting 100 plus significant strikes. Dogs are tough on this card. So I think my preferred play is Casey. But I mean, if I really had to pick, like I think Santos can have her way with her on the mat a little bit, and she has big boy upside. I also always like to follow the money. Casey opened -150, Santos +130, and the line pretty much flipped. I like following line movement, so I'm kind of torn. I'm going to be playing both of this side, no doubt. I will when we get to the main event. I'm not going to have 100% of that fight, and when I don't have that fight, I'm more than likely going to play this fight in most of them, since I can see the winner outscoring the main event in an easy decision. So that's my breakdown on this one. What about you?
Yeah, I like this fight. I think it's Santos on the ground or Neal in the striking. O'Neill's she's the better overall striker, but she could put up one heck of a pace on the feet too. She could score 90 plus in a striking decision alone. So I like her a lot as an underdog, but I am picking Santos to win. I just think she has a bigger edge on the mat. It could just be one-way traffic on the mat with Santos landing takedowns here. So I want this fight in most of my lineups, one way or the other. But I think the way that it doesn't make the optimal would be in a Santos wins. She just spends too much time on her feet, maybe pulls out the win with a couple takedowns here and there. And then on the O'Neal side, if she wins, it's that she spends too much time on her back and then wins the rest of the fight on her feet. And either way, they could score a little less than 10x. So definitely not an all-in fight, but one that I like as a top like 3 or 4 fight on the card just overall. And I would say that Santos is my preferred play, but I have no issues getting more exposure to O'Neal if that's what the Shiptomizer gives me.
Hey, yeah, we've agreed on too much to start the card. I always do enjoy that though, but we see it pretty much the same way. Made a lot of the same points. AK Jeff, what's going on? Haven't seen this name pop up too much, so appreciate you watching. How often do 9,400 plus fighters hit value? So that's a tough question because everything's slate dependent. Like a 12 fight card compared to a 10 fight card compared to a 14 fight card are obviously all different. A card where there's only 2 or when there's 10 of the 12 favorites are over -300 and DraftKings has people priced differently every tier, like they're way less likely to hit the optimal when they're 9,400 or plus that way. So like, I don't have the numbers on it. And even if I did, I don't really look at it like that because it's really slate dependent is MMA. So yeah, I guess really that's all my answer. I don't have the numbers to do it. Everything's slate dependence. If there's anything you want to add, Big Marley, but it's really hard to answer that question. And I hope I explained why.
Yeah, I want to say that, well, I mean, value, yeah, it's different. They mostly hit value, I would say, but I think like $9,400 and $9,500 have a much more likelihood of being on the optimal lineup than it is like 96 and higher because those are just priced out of the optimal lineup sometimes. But if you want exact numbers, you can go follow my guy MMA Monk on Twitter. He can tell you the numbers.
There you go. But yeah, like, yeah, hit that. Yeah, I'm saying optimal. So when I was taught, like, to me, value means optimal. Like, you score 30 points. What did you ship with Marnik, man? 18?
Shit, she had less than that. She had like 10 or something.
10, not value, but it was on the winner. Like, it was what it got you. That's the MMA is such a unique sport. It's only like tennis when it comes to DFS because there's 12 fights. They fight against each other. So more than likely there's not a stack. There's only so many combinations. It's a salary sport. So like A 9,400 fighter could theoretically put up 120, be the highest score, but if others scored 115, 112, 110, and were cheaper, they could be left off. So that's the reason there. I like this sheet. I really do like this because we're doing YouTube comments. 100%. Let's do this. I think a more interesting contest for the free month is what will the winning DFS contest be in the throwdown, which is the big, I want to say $25 this week. I don't know for sure, but the big flagship contest. So in the YouTube comments, scratch that. If you're tuned out after Sheet said the significant strikes and you comment that, hey, you don't deserve it anyway. The real ones keep watching. Comment below. Not King of Smack, you're not listening. YouTube comments after, or you can do it now, but after the show, so we will give it away next week. Right there. What will the winning score be in the throwdown? So that's whatever's closest gets it. I would go to the decimal points too, because someone says 660, someone says 660.4, and it's 660.5. The 0.4 wins. So I like that idea, Sheets. Too sharp. We'll get to that fight in a little bit, Cloud. Let's keep it rolling. Next fight on the card, Joshua Culibao taking on Ricardo Ramos, minus 150 Culibao. Actually, hold on. Right when I was typing that, some money just came in on Ramos. So I'm seeing on Bet Online, just went from 150. Now it's minus 135. Pretty big line change. A big bet must have just came in on Ramos. So minus 135 Culibao, plus 115 Ramos, minus 125 for this fight to finish. Culibao plus 195. Ramos plus 265, and that was plus, wow. So it opened plus 350. It was literally just plus 300, and now it's plus 265 for Ramos inside the distance. I like all this because Ramos was my preferred play anyway. The 800 savings, averages 3 takedowns per 15 minutes, has the wrestling upside, has big boy upside in a win. Culibao, I mean, he wants to keep it on the feet. Like, I look at it as a clash of styles, but Ramos can still hang on the feet too. I'll never forget, one of the most vicious knockouts I've ever seen in person was a spinning elbow against Danny Chavez. Austin, Texas, I've been at 5 or 6 UFC events. That Austin, Texas card, nothing will ever beat that. The Duran win Phil Hawes murder that we watched. I mean, Dawkins, Dolidze breaking Dawkins' nose, giving one of the most brutal beatdowns. I was cage side for that. Insane card. The best card I'll probably ever watch in my life. You need a card to go back and you're bored. That Austin, Texas card, probably like 2021, Cater and Emmett, which was the most boring card fight on the card. Go back and watch that. But anyway, Ramos can strike, Ramos can wrestle, but man, when the going gets tough, that man has no dog in his game. UFC fighters I compare to UFC fighters, but he's a wimp. He's a quitter, like, relatively speaking. Yes, he beat my ass, of course. But, like, come on, Charles Jourdain submitting you? Like, I don't know, man. Ramos my preferred play because he's cheaper, has the wrestling upside, and you know he has the skill. But I will say on the Culibao side, we have him at 15% owned. That's one of the lowest on the card. I'm going to use him in chalkier lineups, but Ramos is definitely my preferred play. I love seeing that money just literally this second came in on him. The inside the distance prop keeps going down. So, yeah, it's Ramos for me. You can leave money. And Ramos does have more, like, he could outscore that main event. If Izzy wins a decision, that fight, we've seen it so many times. We'll talk about it when we get there. Playing Ramos over the main event, leaving a little money, and it works out. Like, that's how you solo ship on this card. So that's what I got. And Josh, you ain't listening either, my man. YouTube comments. I want you to have a chance to win. YouTube comments, like, on the actual video, not in the the chat. So, like, below the actual video.
Yeah, after the live show.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I just like Ramos as one of my favorite underdogs on the card. I think he can hang in the striking. He could knock out Culibao, but he's going to have the wrestling edge. He's the better grappler in this one. You just can't really trust him with too many lineups because he has no heart. So I'm going to get him in a good amount. I will get some leverage over the field, but I'd probably like max him around 40% or something like that. Culibao should be the more technical striker, and mostly because Ricardo throws all that spinning shit that I hate, but it's worked for him twice. So, I mean, it could work again. I would just prefer him get rid of that and just look to wrestle more. But if Ramos does win, I think he's got a good chance of scoring more than 10x with a 100-point upside, Whereas if Kulabau wins, if he doesn't finish, I don't think he has really much of a chance at all of hitting 10x. And he has to finish to have any 100-point upside. So
I solid though. For his 15% ownership plus 195 inside the distance isn't terrible.
Yeah, I think he's like an okay ownership play.
Yeah.
But just since I'm picking Ramos to win, I'll be clicking on other favorites more with my hand builds. And then Kulabau will be more of like a shiptimizer play where I'd be okay getting like 10 to 15% if that's what it gives me. But I doubt I get him in any hand builds. Give me Ramos to win.
I agree with you. Like if I'm playing, like I'm not hand building and picking Kulabau. If I'm playing him, it's more than likely I'm playing DDP chalk. Maybe Tom Nolan with $0 left. Like really chalky lineups like that. That's when I'd more than likely be like, I don't like the idea of leaving 600 with Kulabau in your lineup, or like playing Reyes or Herbert Burns and Kulabau. I don't like that idea. He's got to be the difference maker in that lineup. Let's keep it going. Next fight. I'm like getting sick through Big Marley. I'm coughing a little bit through the mic. So yeah, still a decent amount left. We'll get it moving though. Junior Tafa, Walter Walker, minus 123 is Tafa, plus 103 is Walker, minus 200 for this fight to finish. Why did I think? I must have wrote it wrong. Minus 200 for this fight to finish, plus 110 inside the distance for Tafa, plus 285 for Walker. This is what Cloud was saying. How much ass is Walker striking? So it literally seems, or it is, Junior Tafa the striker. Walter Walker wants to take him down. Clash of styles, big boys in there. Which prevails? Who do you got?
Yeah, I think it's one of the best fights, if not the best fight to target on the card, because I think Tafa's got the striking edge, but it's most likely that he's going to knock out Walker. And it could be early. It could be the first 60 seconds. He could get that slate breaking bonus. But if he gets a first round knockout, he's on the optimal lineup. If he gets a second round knockout, he's still flirting with it maybe. But if he doesn't get that early knockout, I just think it's Walker getting takedowns and laying on a guy who doesn't know how to get up. So my preferred play is going to be the grappler. I usually prefer a grappler over the striker. And I think Walker could score 90 plus points in a decision where Tafa, he's not even scoring 70 plus points in a decision, I don't think, unless he's getting a couple knockdowns along the way. So yeah, give me Walker to go out there, land a couple takedowns, probably like one takedown each round, and then just let his way to a decision and hopefully do enough on the ground to add up the points. But I do think we're going to get a pretty solid score either way in this fight. So I'll have it in majority of my lineups, but Walker's my preferred play.
Makes a lot of sense. I'm on the Tafa side. I don't feel confident at all. Like, I don't think both of these guys are really UFC caliber. Like Junior Tafa, Justin Tafa's brother, Walter Walker, Johnny Walker's brother. Kind of the reason I did side with Tafa, though, is like on the feet, I think the leg kicks will be good. But the money has came in on Tafa. He opened plus 135, so it's minus 155 Walker, plus 135 Tafa. Now Tafa, the favorite, has taken a decent bit of money. I like following the money. I think the leg kicks will be there. Walker, concerning gas tank. But I say like, oh, Tafa's kickboxing background, solid striker. Like the dude didn't know how to check a leg kick to save his life against DeLima. My man, Hebrew Cheetah, we were there in California watching that one live, was just screaming, leg kick, leg kick. I mean, it was so free. Got a takedown in there, didn't need it. Eventually TKO from leg kicks. But, so he's a solid striker. Walker's a massive human, though. 6'6", have a 3-inch height advantage, 3-inch reach advantage in this one. But the striking, what do they say? The bigger they are, the harder they fall. I think Tafa can knock him out. Just got to keep it on the feet. Let's keep it going. Next fight on the card, Carlos Prates taking on the Leech, Li Jingling Li. Minus 400 Prates, plus 300 is the Leech. Minus 200 for this fight to finish. Prates minus 150, the Leech plus 600. I don't love this fight because Prates is 9,200. The Leech is 7K. Prates keeps taking money, which makes me like the Leech a little less. But when we're talking about Prates, like I definitely like Nolan more, Jenkins more, Gamrot more. Prates needs a first or second round knockout, and even a second round knockout might not get there. Like he has no takedown upside. His volume isn't great. I mean, he is slick on the feet, though. He is technical. He has power. So he can get a first-round knockout. He's expected to finish. The Leech has never been knocked out, though. Big boy head, really hard to put away. Lowest volume, needing a first or maybe second-round knockout to get there. I just like others in the upper tier more. I think they have more pass to get there is how I see it. So I'm going to keep him in the pool, but I'm definitely going to cap his ownership. I prefer others in his range. The Leech, I'm going to play a little bit because I think there could be takedown upside. I think that's his best chance to win. But 2-year layoff, has battled some injuries. I don't love either side. I'll be underweight on this fight. What about you?
Yeah, I really don't want too much Prates because that $9,200 salary is just a little bit too high for me for a guy who shouldn't be looking for too many takedowns in this fight. I actually give Jing Liang the wrestling edge in this one. And if Prates doesn't get an early knockout, I just don't think there's any way he's going to pay off $9,200 winning a decision in this one. I think the line is too wide. So my preferred play is going to be Jing Liang. I think he is in play as a punt to get those Nolans and Jenkins in your lineups. I think he could win by any method. He could get a knockout. He could go out there and get a submission. He could land volume, land takedowns, score well in a decision. And when he wins, he usually does score well. It's just that we haven't seen him in 2 years. Now he's 36 years old, so I just don't know what to expect from Jing Liang. I don't have any real confidence in him winning. I'm picking Prates to go out there and win 29-28 on the scorecards. But if that's the case, Prates isn't going to be making the optimal lineup. So I'll just be underweight to Prates. Maybe I'll get up to like 10% or so. And then Jing Liang, I'm more interested in. I'll probably get like, 10 to 25% on the Jing Liang side. I don't feel good about him winning, but I feel pretty good about him scoring well if he does win. And I think the line should be much closer than it is.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. He's my preferred side as well, but I think Prates wins a decision. I want to be underweight on this fight. I will say it's pretty hard to find like enough fades and underweight tags like that. I try and have 4 fades and 3 underweight tags usually on a 12 fight card. I have 3 fades and 5 underweight tags because I had 4 and 4. We'll get to another one I changed in a second, but it's pretty tough. Like we're saying to go underweight on a guy minus 150 to finish. Like, yeah, I mean, he's favored to finish the fight. His striking slick. He could obviously put up 110 and wouldn't be surprised. And he will have a little ownership discount in the top tier as well. So when I do play Prates, I'll probably I'm way more likely to play Adrikas. I'm way more likely to leave $0, stuff like that, because I'm already getting different with him. Like I don't want too many cool about Prates lineups. If I do, then I'm probably jamming in chalk in the rest of the 4 spots. Let's keep it rolling, Big Marley. You're doing great. Ty Tui. Actually, I always start with the favorite. What am I doing? Jairzinho Rosenstrike, Ty Tuivasa, minus 600 to finish. Minus 155 inside the distance for Rosenstruck, plus 215 inside the distance for Ty. Ty on a 4-fight losing streak, but he gets the fight he wants. He's not going to get taken down, which is a thing of this one. So it's minus 600 to finish. It's minus 200 under 1.5. Obviously, I never will fade those props, but it's not an all-in fight. Like if they threw Casey O'Neill volume and it was these props, like it's really, really hard to fade. Both guys, pretty low volume. I think they'll respect each other's power. It could go to decision. And if it does, it's not going to get there. If it gets outside the second round, it's probably not going to get there, especially on the Rosenstruck side. So both have big boy power. I think Rosenstruck wins because I think he's more technical. Ty's more of a brawler. But man, like, I like this fight, but I'm hesitant on it a little bit when comparing it versus the props, which is like slam dunk. You can't fade this fight. I don't necessarily see it like that because I could see them respecting each other enough at range, no wrestling upside. And yeah, won't get there at that point. So Rosenstruck for me, though. What about you?
Yeah, Rosenstruck's my preferred play just because I think he is the much better striker. I actually think the only way Tuivasa wins this fight is by knockout. And the longer that it goes, the less likely I think that knockout is going to come. But it should be a striking match for the most part. But Tuivasa can absolutely break the slate with the first-round knockout. And if this fight goes past the first round, I don't know that Rosenstruck can make it even with a second round knockout because he's not going to have a whole lot of volume. He shouldn't be going for any takedowns. So we could see a second round knockout from Rosenstruck and still not even hit 10x. So I think my plan is going to be to max him around his first round finish odds, which is like right around 40% right now. So I think I'll probably max him at 40 and prefer him closer to like 30 or so, because I do think he gets a first round knockout. And then Tuivasa, I mean, I have to get some of him to help me with those Nolan and Jenkins lineups, because he could knock him out and score 110 points, and it's a no Tuivasa, no cash type of week. So I'll definitely hedge with Tuivasa as well, but my preferred leverage play is going to be Rosenstruck. And I think his lack of volume and takedowns will keep his ownership down a little bit too. So I'll probably be over it.
Yeah, no, I like what you said a lot because I agree. So we have Ty Tuivasa again, ownership. Everything will be up tomorrow. Ownership projections, slate plan. Big Marley's fight rankings are up. So if you want a little sneak peek, you can check that out. All the other content will be up tomorrow. We do have Ty Tuivasa as the highest owned fighter, 7,500 and below. And I agree with that. I wrote up in the slate plan. I think he will be over-owned for not only the props, but the name value as well. And just dogs are tough on this card. Like if he wins, he's doing that. So, which makes me want to go more Rosenstruck for some leverage. People, like you said, we'll see no takedown upside, low volume, other solid fighters in his range. So all of that makes me like Rosenstruck even more. But it's not like you can fade Ty. That's why, like, if I play Coulibaugh, maybe Ty's in that lineup. If I play Prates, maybe Ty's in that lineup. If I'm playing Nolan, DDP, Casey O'Neill, Ty's probably not in that lineup. So that's where I'm at in this one. But yeah, solid fight to target. Ty probably over-owned. But even though, because you're over-owned, yeah, he goes up and puts out 100. Yeah, you need him. He's under-owned at that point, obviously. So time for a Shui Vasa. He will definitely be doing a Shui if he gets the win. You can bank on that one. Let's keep it rolling, Big Marley. 3 fights left. 3 solid fights. Definitely high-level fights, no doubt about that. I don't know how many people like to see Mateus Gamrot's name, but Mateus Gamrot taking on Dan Hooker, minus 350 Gamrot, plus 285 is the Hangman, plus 180 inside the distance. This one is Gamrot plus 265 inside the distance, Hooker plus 500. So I will say, I kind of surprised that Gamrot inside the distance keeps taking money, and I like to see that too. He was plus 300 just a couple days ago. Now it's plus 265. Interesting. Gamrot, what you know about him is he chain wrestler. He'll chain wrestle for days. He just put up 11 takedowns last fight for 131 DK points. Even in a decision, he has as much upside as anybody, which is like why I can never X him out of the pool. Thing is, and this is what I was talking, I had 4 fades and I moved it to 3. I'm keeping Hooker in the pool because he's he's a very, very, very good fighter. Like dogs that I want to back are at least very elite fighters. Like even though I had no Poirier against Islam, it's Dustin Poirier. Like he's going to fight for your dollar. He's a good fighter. Alex Reyes is cheeks. It's harder to back a guy when he's cheeks, regardless he's fighting a little worse fighter. He looks career best too. Like grown ass man. Dan Hooker, I don't know if he's on the juice, what he's doing. He's in the weight room. There's no doubt about that. He looks good. He has a striking advantage. Gamrot's not a bum by any means. Like he was standing with Fiziev. Like he's an underrated striker, I think, for many. People call him a crotch sniffer, boring, all of that. Sure. No damage on the mat. But he's a fine striker. He ain't going to be optimal if he strikes. So Gamrot with the wrestling upside. If Hooker can stuff takedowns, or if he can at least get back up, get at range, make him work. It's the Hangman. Dan Hooker against Dustin Poirier in the Apex is one of the best fights you will ever see. Like he has had a lot of war, but man, that dude will come and he'll fight for your dollar. So I wanted to fade because just say Dan Hooker somehow gets a 3rd round knockout. Well, if he was controlled the whole first 2 rounds and didn't do anything, it still might not be enough. But if I'm saying any win at 70, I'll take as a dog. He's below 7K, so he's a live dog, no doubt about it. Gamrot's still my preferred play because he showed that 130 plus upside. But yeah, I'm excited for this one. I'm excited to hear what you got to say too.
Yeah, I think Gamrot has one of the highest ceilings on the card. with his takedown upside, he could go out there and land 7+ takedowns and score 110 in a decision win here. But my thing with Gamrot is that he's really good at getting takedowns, but he averages less than a minute of control time per takedown. So if he does get 7 takedowns here, but controls the fight for 6 minutes, that could mean that Hooker's winning the other 9 minutes on the feet, because I do like him to have the striking edge. I like him to be more dangerous on the feet as well. So this line I thought was a little bit too high, which talked me into Hooker as my pick. I'm picking Hooker to win here. So I still want a good amount of Gamrot. I don't want to get too burned on him like I did the last card, because I don't know if I faded him, but I was definitely low on him in the last card, and he put up that 130. So I don't want to miss that. So I'll still get like at least 20% Gamrot here. But I'm going to be more overweight to the field on Hooker in this fight. I don't feel good about him putting up a big score, because you're right, he could get taken down 7 times, still win, and just not have a big score in that win. But I think the knockout's in play too. So I'll probably get like 25% of each side of this fight, really. But that'll put me more overweight on the Hooker side, and I'll pick him to win by split decision.
I like it. This is, we have to touch on this. We were talking about in the Discord a little bit earlier, me, Hebrew Cheetah, a couple members. My thought is, like, Mikhaev getting cut, I think, had a lot more to do with just he's a dumbass. He's not, I guess, respectful. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that seemed like he's still talking, like, nonsense. So I think it had more to do with that. Now, he did come out and verbally say the matchmakers told him not to wrestle as much. I don't know if they said that, like, before the fight. Like, we know we already want to cut you. Like, you're already boring. Like, give us another reason to get you out of here. The Carl Williams last week was very interesting as well. He got hurt, and then he tried to wrestle. To be honest, like, his leg was so cooked. Like, I don't even know if he used that as an excuse more so, or maybe so, but Carl Williams is way down the list. I don't look at it really in this fight because, I mean, Gamrot's, 24-2. He's on a big winning streak. Like, I think he's closer to the fight, or a title fight, unfortunately. Like, people don't like that. Like, Bilal Muhammad, if you keep winning, eventually Dana, like, has to give it to you almost. But when you're in a war with someone and, like, you're getting outstruck, like, you're going to shoot. Like, I don't think you're like, oh, shoot, I might lose my job if I just get my, like, strike and then I'll get my ass beat. Like, I mean, he's been KSW, the UFC. He's been so good. Like, I think he can make money anywhere. I think when it's all said and done, give me my, I don't know what he gets paid, $120,000. Give me my $120,000 win bonus. I'm going to wrestle because I know that's the easiest path. And it probably is baked into a line maybe a little bit, but I think it's getting overblown to the public. But this is all speculation. I don't have ties with Dana White. I don't have inside info on the UFC. This is literally me just thinking. I could be so wrong, but I'm not really changing my approach necessarily, especially when you're higher up in the ranks, like Mateusz Gamrot. So I hope that answers the question there. What about you? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I didn't even consider it. And then, like, with the whole Mikhaev saying that they told him not to wrestle thing, like, it brings me back to that Seth Pazinski versus Kimbo Slice fight where, like, they told Seth to not wrestle Kimbo on live TV, and then Dana was like, that's fucking illegal.
Yeah, what? That's way before my time. Yeah.
So I just don't think that they could tell these fighters not to wrestle, especially if that's their best way to win. So I didn't take it into account at all. I do think Gamrot's going to go out there and wrestle, but it's bad for Gamrot if he doesn't go out there and wrestle. Then he's relying on a knockout at that point. So that would make me like Gamrot even less. Yeah.
So I think it's more speculation, people talking, seeing there's low IQ fighters out there at the end of the day. And, like, watching that Carl Williams fight, Denise chopped that leg early and often. When your leg's chopped, it's harder to plant, explode out. Like, he was at range too much. Any of his shots were, like, at distance, telegraphed. So that's, I got a little bit of insight, and they aren't telling people how to fight. Hey, what's going on, Shark? There you go. Shark, man, inside info. I need to see where you're getting that inside info. But yeah, hope you're doing well, Shark. And yeah, I'm on the same page. But again, I'm just speculating. I got no inside info.
And I definitely said that Seth guy's name. I think it's like Petruzzelli or something. I don't remember what the heck his name was, but the Dana quote with "that's fucking illegal" is what I love.
They can definitely get in a lot of trouble if that comes out and someone records that or some shit. Yeah, that's bad. Two fights left, co-main event time. Steve Erceg taking on Kai Kara-France. -170 Erceg, +145 is Kai. Erceg +265 inside the distance. Kai +500. Yeah, hard to believe anything Mikhail says at this point is right. No doubt about that. I don't love this fight much. I think Erceg wins the decision, but I don't think, unless you tell me you think he's going to wrestle a lot, which Kai Kara-France has really good takedown defense, I don't really just see 8,800 Erceg getting you 90 plus on the slate. So I actually have him as a fade in 20 and below, and Kai's my preferred play. I don't love Kai, but this comes back to like 73 and a win at 7,400 could be enough. If we're going in this fight and no dogs have won, or only one dog is won, Tom Nolan puts up 130, 70 could be enough. That's just like how we play a salary based game. Plus 145 or money line isn't bad. You tell me 5 dogs win on this card, I would have 0 Kai Kara-France because I don't love the upside there. So I'm definitely capping his ownership. He's my preferred play because I don't love Erceg's upside. Erceg has upside, I will say. Like, he's a very good fighter. He was 1 round away from beating Pantoja. I think he wins this fight, which also why I don't like Kai much. But 8,800, I prefer others a lot more. So not a fight I like much. I got Erceg winning, though. Kai, my preferred play, just because of money line and price value.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun fight to watch, but it's my least favorite fight for DFS. I think Erceg does have the higher ceiling, probably more finishing potential, more wrestling potential, but I just don't think it's a likely ceiling. I think he probably scores under 10x in a win here. So yeah, I'm fine with France being the preferred play just from being a live dog, but yeah, he might not hit 10x either. So most of my lineups will avoid this fight, but I'd be okay with like up to 10 to 15% on each side with the Shiptimizer lineups.
Main event time, boys. Let's go. Again, appreciate every single person out there watching. Want to shout out again, Sheets. He is giving away a monthly membership. How you do that? YouTube comments, not the YouTube chat, the YouTube comments. That's the wrong one. Guess the winning DFS score in the throwdown, which is the 15 to 25, whatever they're running this week, the big flagship. Whoever gets closest to that gets a month at SHIPITNation.com. If you're not a member, though, as you see, no better time to get in. NFL season right around the corner. We do have monthly NFL packages, but the best deal out here, yearly early bird special, $299. Get the Shiptimizer. And if you sign up for this one, or you do want to get the monthly one, which starts September 5th, you will get all access to our site. That means UFC content, 305, big boy prize pools, coming off a massive week. Also get PGA Showdown content. NASCAR, big wins in the NASCAR streets. MLB still rolling. No better time to get in. SHIPITNation.com. And, of course, shout out Drafters. Rio and I will be going live right after the show, jumping into Drafters Draft. Looks like potential overlay. SHIPIT is the promo code. They will match 100% up to $100. How many points will Marley score in the top lineup? Answer will be the same. Hey, come on. Where's my love, Sheets?
Hope you're right, Sheets.
Main event time, baby. Israel Adesanya taking on Dricus du Plessis. -110 apiece, baby. Flip a coin. Flip a coin. Nothing better than that. -145 for this fight to finish. +170 inside the distance for Dricus. +240 inside the distance for Izzy. My quick thought. Actually, take it away, Big Marl. I've gone first almost every time. I've tried to spare your voice. I'll let you take this one first.
See, I think if DDP wins this fight, he is on the optimal lineup. He can land volume. He can land takedowns. He could get a knockout. But any win from him, I expect a big score. Whereas if Izzy wins, I think it's possible that this fight's not on the optimal lineup, especially if it goes past like the 3rd round. I think a 4th round or a 5th round knockout from Izzy could possibly not make the optimal lineup. And then a decision from Izzy could also score like right around 10x and not get there. I think it does help that this is in the mid-range. So you don't really need 100, 110 points from it. But to get different from the field, I'll probably be underweight to this fight as a whole. I also have DDP projected with higher ownership. So that makes me like Izzy more. But I'm going to pick Izzy here. I think that the sloppiness from DDP, somebody like Izzy could really make him pay for that. He's so sharp on the feet. He's so technical. Could just be one mistake from DDP and then it's lights out. So give me Izzy by knockout. I don't know what round, but he is my preferred play. I will be underweight to DDP, but I'll still get some exposure. Hell, I might even be underweight to Izzy too, but I'm more likely to get leverage on his side, I think. And the more this line closes, the lower his ownership will be.
First of all, I want to say hi to Joanne. I forgot earlier. I apologize. Always saying hi, bringing good mojo. Appreciate that, Joanne. Good luck to you this week. I'm glad you went first. You saved my voice. I could not agree with I agree with everything you said. I think DDP will be higher owned because he's lower owned. In almost every DDP win, I think he's optimal. Over 6 significant strikes, 3 takedowns. He just has so many paths to win, even in a decision. Izzy, on the other hand, has been a notorious poor scorer for DFS. Everybody knows it. If he wins a decision, it can be counterpunching all day. 80 points, not enough. However, I agree with you. If I have to make a pick, it is Izzy. Because I do think, you said the counterpunching. Shark's talking about counterpunching. Just way more technical. Think he has something to prove. Like, I bet you he is so locked in again. Speculation, they're always locked in for training camps. Just got embarrassed by Sean Strickland, talking about maybe taking years off, all this. There's bad blood. I think we get one of the better Izzies we see. However, if he's counterpunching all night and gets, let's say, a third-round knockout, that could be 80, could be 85. Decision win, could be 80, could be 85. We're talking this fight could have like 90% combined ownership because it's in the mid-tier. I like that it's in the mid-tier for that reason. We have other good fights in the mid-tier, like Song Kanan fights expected to finish. Luana Santos O'Neal we made cases for. The Culibao Ramos, we liked Ramos to an extent. Tafa Walker right there. Like, there is the mid-tier is good this week. So, 80, 85, like if I knew they would score that, it's a full fade at ownership. So, I will have fades in this fight. I think ownership's going to be on DDP, and it could be like 52% DDP, 38% Adesanya. And at that point, it's like, yeah, that's interesting. So, yeah, I won't have 100%. I'm picking Izzy, but not every Izzy wins optimal, whereas a lot of DDP's wins are optimal. So, that's kind of like if I'm playing Prates, more likely to play DDP. I play Culibao, more likely to play DDP. I play Nolan, Casey O'Neill, probably more likely to play Izzy or fade. So kind of going to go about what my other pieces are, how much money I'm leaving, and that determines what side or if I fade in the main event. If Izzy is projecting remotely close to 80%, 38%, I'll have 0. I will say we have him projected pretty close to 38% sheets. Appreciate that, Cody Berry. Appreciate those words. Appreciate everyone out there. Again, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Head over to SHIPIT Nation. No better time, no better price. And get in the comments if you want to try and win a free membership on Cheats. Guess the closest score to the throwdown. The winner that does get a free month on Cheats next week. Big Marley, final thoughts for the people.
Nah, man, thanks, Sheets, for the dono. Thanks, Rio, for taking my spot in the Best Ball podcast. Good luck to you, Title. Good luck to everybody listening. Let's ship it.
Go get some sleep. Rio, I'll see you in a couple seconds. We're going to the Best Ball streets. We would love for you to join us on the YouTube channel. We will see you there. Good luck, everybody. Appreciate all you. Be safe this weekend. Let's make some cheese for Big Marley. I'm Title Town. Peace.